Hi everyone, welcome to Queen of the Household. This is video 2 in a 3-part series about clearing the clutter in our homes. So last week I shared reasons behind our clutter, and I talked about really that there are 2 different types of clutter. There's the everyday clutter that we deal with on a daily basis, and then there's the clutter that we kind of shove into closets and garages, and we don't deal with it for years usually. And so that's kind of like the harder stuff to deal with. And I think that it becomes easier to deal with those types of things after you have really conquered your daily clutter. And so that's what we're talking about in this series. And today I want to share with you some simple things that you can do to overcome those daily clutter zones. So what are those daily clutter zones that you have in your home? You may not even realize that you have places in your home that are just collecting things because you're used to it. You walk by it every day, you see it. And so to you it may not seem like a clutter magnet, but it really is. On the other hand, maybe you do see them every day and they are just stressing you out and you want to deal with it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So what are some places that you should probably keep clutter-free? Well, I have a list of them that I made out as a pretty little printable, and you can get it by signing up for my email list, and I'll send it to you as soon as you sign up, and then you can print it out and that way you can refer to it. But here are just a few places that may be attracting clutter in your home. Okay, so think about clear surfaces like countertops and dresser tops and desk tops and side tables and coffee tables. Entryways, a lot of times collect our clutter, especially when we get home. We might just throw things to kick off our shoes. Maybe dining room tables. It may be your bed. I know, like for me, I used to just let things pile up on my bed throughout the day because I didn't want to deal with them. Maybe it's a clothes chair. Everyone kind of has that joke about the chair that's in your room that just collects clothes. So maybe it's your kids' rooms, maybe it's your kids' toys, and those are just things and places in our homes that just seem to have a magnet for clutter. So we're going to talk about dealing with those things today. My suggestion is to pick 1 or 2 of those places to start with. Don't go through your whole house and say, oh my goodness, I have 20 different places that I need to clear the clutter from, because that will just overwhelm you and you'll see all the work that needs to go into it and then you won't do it. So instead, just pick 1 or 2 of those places. Okay, so now that you have a clutter-free countertop or clutter-free cabinet, how do you maintain it? Well, here's some really practical tips and ways that I have learned to maintain those everyday clutter zones. So number 1, establish daily habits and routines for dealing with your stuff. So this would be things like a laundry routine. Do you have a routine put in place about dealing with your laundry? Do your kids and your spouse know what to do with their dirty clothes? Do they know what to do with their clean clothes? Do you have a time each day or maybe each week that you do all of the laundry? For me, I like to do 1 load of laundry every day. I put it in the morning, and then sometime during the mid-morning when I get a chance, I throw it in the dryer, and then that afternoon I fold the clothes and I put them away. So that's my really simple routine, but I had to establish that routine, otherwise the laundry would just pile up. Another routine that you need to develop is dealing with mail and incoming paperwork. So mail like bills and coupons, paperwork from your kids' school or daycare, things that come home from work or church. What are you going to do with that paperwork? Come up with a habit or a routine for dealing with that stuff. I made a second printable that has a list of daily, weekly, and quarterly habits that you can establish to help you deal with that daily clutter and daily just things that come into our homes. So if you would like that, you can get that along with a list of the clutter magnets to keep clutter free if you sign up for my email. So I will link that below so that you can sign up for that. The third way to maintain your clutter-free areas is to take care of things right away. So when I read the book, Make Room for What You Love by Melissa Michaels, one of the things that she talked about was dealing with things, making decisions about items right away. Because a lot of times our clutter builds up because we think, oh, I'll deal with it later, or we'll make a decision about it at another time. So I realized that I was doing that with my daily things. So instead of putting my shoes away, I would just go and throw them on the floor in my room. Or instead of putting the laundry away, I would just leave them out on the countertop. So I started saying, okay, instead of just setting something on my bed or setting something on the kitchen counter, I'm going to actually take it right now and go put it where it belongs. And so making those decisions right away and dealing with things right away really has cut back on almost all of the clutter that was accumulating on my kitchen counter and on my bed throughout the day. And then the third way to maintain a clutter-free zone on a daily basis is to make sure that you have a spot for everything. So everything needs a home. I think a lot of clutter happens because we haven't taken the time to say, okay, this is where this item belongs. So with my son's toys, they were starting to clutter up his room after Christmas. And I was sick at the time, so I hadn't really dealt with a lot of his toys. We hadn't gone through any of it. But when I started to feel better, I said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna divide up these toys and we're gonna put them into special bins and we're gonna make sure they have places to go in his room. And so now, instead of just having toys everywhere, he has specific places where he knows he can go and get his toys, and then it makes cleanup a lot easier too, because he knows that he needs to put them back in this bin or back under his bed or in the toy box, and that has made his life and my life a lot easier. Another example in my life is my purse. So I didn't have a home for my purse. I would just come in after work and I would toss my purse on the kitchen counter, or I would toss it in my living room beside my chair, or I would go put it on my bed. It was always in a different place. And so it became clutter, and I often didn't know where it was when I needed it. So finally, I decided I would just put a little hook up in our closet, and that hook is just for my purse. So every time that I get home, as soon as I'm done putting groceries away or doing whatever I need to do from my purse, throwing away receipts and things like that, then I take my purse and I hang it up in my closet on that hook. And that way I know exactly where it is. So think about, are there things in your home that are clutter, and does it have a space where it belongs? If it doesn't, then find a space for each of your items so that you know where it goes. Okay, so that was video 2, dealing with daily clutter. I hope that it was helpful. Next week in video 3, which is our last video, we will be talking about how to prevent clutter, how to make sure that we don't have more clutter coming into our homes than what we need in our homes. I hope that you will join me next week as well. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. And if you'd like to join my email newsletter, then you can click a link down below. I'll make sure that it's down there. So to sign up, you can get the printables, and each month I share a specific habit or routine that you can develop, and I give you step-by-step ideas for developing a habit to help you maintain your home better and more efficiently. And I know that it would be helpful for anyone who needs that extra help. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.